Happy Friday the 13th, and let's go through some of the current astrology that we have happening in the sky. Gemini season, am I right? What a fucking time to be alive. So here we are. The sun is in Gemini. It's moving through Gemini. We're almost at the end of the season. The sun will move into the sign of Cancer here soon. And we're also coming off of the full moon that we had in Sagittarius that happened just a few days ago. And so what we could be experiencing right now, kind of the general energy and theme, the times that we're in. As we know, Gemini rules communication and how our mind works. And so throughout this season, I would imagine that we have all been having some deep dives into our own psyche, into our own minds, examining the contents of what's in our minds, the thoughts that we have, literally like understanding how important it is. Our thoughts that are just spinning all day, ruminating the thoughts that we have that enter into our brain and understanding how that creates our reality. Truly, I feel like with this Gemini season, I've gone deeper into wanting to understand the contents of what's in my mind than I ever have in my life. So maybe you're doing some work around that. Maybe you're doing some reprogramming work. Maybe you're doing subconscious work. Maybe you are getting more tools in your toolbox so that you can work with what's going on in your mind so that you can have healthy thoughts. You can have healthy self-talk. We have been reviewing the contents of what's happening within our mental space. And right now it's a time of kind of in between, kind of at a crossroads. It's like an old version, an old life, an old chapter of whatever area of your life it applies to for you, but it's like something is ending and something new is going to begin, but it's not quite clear yet. It's not quite there yet, but we can feel it coming. We can feel, the dust starting to settle and things beginning to be made a little bit clear, but we're not at that space yet. And in a few weeks, in a month, there will be more forward momentum. There will be more progression. There will be this feeling of just having more clarity and knowing the direction that we want to go in. Because this week with some of these aspects, we have Jupiter here that's just squaring the shit out of Saturn and Neptune. We have Mars here that's been squaring Uranus. And so these themes, Jupiter was also recently squaring the nodes. And so this is the energy, the themes here with these aspects. It's like looking at where we've been underestimating ourselves, looking at where we've been playing it small, looking at what is worth it to us to build. What do we want to build within our lives? What do we want to accomplish? What do we want to pour our time and our energy into? That is kind of what's being asked right now. And we might not have all of the answers. We're just kind of sitting with these questions and asking what really matters, what's really important. As we just came off of this Sagittarius full moon, right? Sagittarius energy is all about that. It is the wanderer, the seeker. It wants to go out into the world on an adventure, on a quest for answers, for knowledge, for experience, for hands-on experience. And with that experience that they move through, they figure out what the purpose of being here is. And so we're kind of in this space of like reigniting with ourselves, with our internal flame, not focusing on what we no longer have or what we've lost or what has left our life. There's like an energy of ruminating and being sad around what no longer is or what we know has to end. So it's like the Five of Cups energy, right? It's not focusing on what we've lost, but focusing on what's still here, on what we have, on what we want moving forward. And the things that we've lost, they left for a reason. They're making space for new things to come in that are more aligned with this direction that we're wanting to go down. But we are being asked to do things differently. Mars square Uranus, we're being asked to shake things up, to go about how we've moved towards things with a completely different, method. We're being asked to do it differently, to innovate, to be more creative, to think out of the box, to think of new solutions to old problems. We can't go about doing things the same way that we always have done them. And to just zoom out a little bit and see the bigger picture of what's happening this year, we know that throughout 2025, we have planets, these slow moving generational planets, they're all shifting signs. So this is what's coming. It's like a changing of the guard, right? This is happening throughout this year. So right now, this time that we're in, it's kind of like the calm before the storm, because as we move throughout the year, there's going to be a lot of forward momentum. There's going to be a lot of like rapid movement and things that are happening. So right now, maybe it feels like nothing's happening, or maybe you feel stuck, or you feel like, like you don't, like, hopeless, or you're helpless, or you don't know what's going on. There could be a lot of confusion, a lot of mental activity, right, during Gemini season, but it's all for a reason. There's a purpose for this time and space that we're currently in. Maybe it's a time of deep rest right now, so that when there is a lot of forward momentum here in about a month, there'll be more movement and more rapid acceleration. So during that time, we will have been rested, we'll have been, recharged. We're taking this time right now and honoring it. It's like honoring all of the phases, like the butterfly that moves through the cocoon and the chrysalis, and not demonizing the phase when it's in the cocoon and it doesn't know what's going on. Like, that phase is just as important as it becoming the butterfly and it going out into the world and, being alive. Like, that phase is important, but without the previous phases that maybe aren't as fun and exciting and can feel a little bit heavy at times, without those phases, then we aren't able to move forward. If the butterfly is cut out of its cocoon before it's ready, it dies. So we have to take this time that we're in and celebrate it to the best of our ability, or at the very least, like, accept it and move through it with grace and compassion and understanding for ourselves and for our journey. And so that is the current astrology. That's the energy report. I hope that this is helpful. I hope this supports you in kind of understanding the times that we're in right now and best working with this energy. Obviously, this is what's happening in the sky, but it's going to be interacting with your chart in a different way than it is with my chart. So if you want help going through your chart, understanding what the current times are asking from you, how to best work with the energy, you can always book a one-on-one reading with me, and I'd love to go through your chart with you, do an astrology reading, and see what's happening.